Welcome to day 19 of our play along videos for the January challenge. We'll play through today's learning at quite a good speed, and then I'll do it a little bit slower and then a bit slower again. And then when we've done those 3 playthroughs, anyone that wants to, that's all you need. But if anyone would like to stick around, I'm going to go through today's learning in a bit more depth and take it a bit more steady. So here we go with a nice, ideally maybe full speed kind of run through of today's learning, which starts at bar 17. 1 and 2 and okay, and we'll now try that a little bit slower. 1 and 2 and I'm going to do it one more time, even slower still, just to really give you time. Remember to bring out that left hand because that's the tune. 1 and 2 and sometimes it's actually harder to play a piece slower when we're used to the sort of way it goes. Lovely. So I'm just going to go through that in a bit more depth now for anyone that wants to stick around for that. So the big thing we want to do with this is really bring out this left hand. So maybe do a bit of that on its own. And it's really nice to put the tune into the left hand sometimes and really make you work on that. So if we just do the left hand for a moment, we've got C, and then we've got the swap to the 3-2-1. You've been doing this for the last couple of days in your right hand, just doing exactly the same thing, but this time with your left hand it's going to play 3-2-1. If I just carry on another couple of bars, it's carrying on much like we've been getting used to. Thumb on the E that you've just played, finger 2 right next to it on the D, and we play 1, put it back on, cross under to the black F with your finger 2, and then move your thumb up to the G. So just doing those 2 bars, the gently down the stream from the E. 1 and 2 and very little movement there. You can see I just cross under and then I'm back and that's it. Okay, top hand, just got 3 C's all on its own, just with finger 2. Lots of time here to get ready, and our thumb goes onto the C we've just been playing, finger 2 just 1 below it, and it's the same pattern. So 1, put it back on, cross under, put the 2 on the, well, you crossed under, put your thumb onto the E. So just playing those 2 bars, the C, B, C, D, E. 1 and 2 and lovely. So if we try and put those 4 bars together, both hands, we start off both on C, both with finger 2, and then our left hand's going to get ready to swap to 3-2-1. 1 and 2 and lovely. Okay, so they both are putting their thumb on the same note you've just finished playing to get onto that gently down the stream. And really try and bring the left hand out. When we try and bring one hand out more than the other, don't necessarily say to yourself, right, I must really pluck these strings hard and I'm going to really pull on those strings hard. Instead, say to yourself, I'm going to listen for the tune. And if you listen for the tune, the melody line, then whichever hand is playing it will naturally bring it out for you. So it's a less consciously driven way of doing it. It's less effort, because instead of actively playing this one louder than that, instead of actively doing that, you're just choosing to hear, listen for it. And as you listen for it, your body will do what it needs to do. Okay, so one more time then, these 4 bars before we carry on. From bar 17, the beginning of today, both fingers 2s on red Cs. 1 and 2 and thumbs on. Lovely, well done. Okay, so this next little chunk, these next 2 bars, it's the same notes from the arpeggio that we've been working on before. Our left hand's taking the lead because our left hand's sort of hogging the tune this time. So we're going to do finger 2 and we're going to play C twice. This is a high C, an octave above middle C. 2, 2. And I suggest that you can do an open hand, but I would suggest the easiest one is just to let your hand, the back of your hand, to knock in. So what we're doing here is we're damping the sound. We're making our quaver rest an actual silence in that left hand. I'm going to show it you with the right hand briefly. So we're playing C, C, and then we're just going to hit the string with the back of our fingers there. You can see how my fingers are actually there, and this is hitting the back of it. This is the string here, hitting the back of my knuckle. So C, C, almost like a knock on the strings. C, C, knock. G, G, knock. E, E, knock. C. But you're going to do it with your left hand. I was just showing you the move there. So if we do it with our left hand, starting on the C above middle C, we're going to jump 2 of those and a knock on the string that you've just been playing. 2 of the G's, doing the arpeggio downwards. A knock on the string there. When I say knock it, you're letting the hand stay there briefly. 2 of the E's, going down this arpeggio and landing on middle C. And that one can ring out. So let's try this. 1 and 2 and C, C, knock, G, G, knock, E, E, knock, 2. Okay, do that one more time. Starting on that high C with finger 2, 1 and 2 and C, C, knock, G, G, knock, E, E, knock, C. Okay, we'll do it one more time without me talking all over it. High C, 1 and 2 and well done. Okay, the top hand comes in as well. So while your left hand is on a C, your top hand is on the C, the octave higher, up near your shoulder. And it just does that one note, and it does it on the knock. So as you go knock with your left hand, your top hand's playing the answering note. When we move to the G, our top hand's going to move to the G. And as we do the knock, that's when it's going to play. We move to the E, our top hand moves to the E. And as we do the knock, that's when it's going to play. And then it doesn't need to follow on the C, because we've got our left hand C singing out. So if we try that hands together, really nice and steady. I'm going to call out the knocks again. So here we go. 1 and 2 and C, C, knock. That's it. So on the word knock, we've got the note coming through at the top as well. One more time doing that. I would suggest that you don't try and look at the music of this, you just learn where it is so that you can focus in on your strings. 1 and 2 and well done. The other way you can do the damp there, if you're not liking the knock, is to play the 2 notes and then do an open hand. And in this case, if I show you with my right hand, it's the heel of my hand that's damping the note I've just played, and the rest of the hand is just flat on the strings below, which does do a good job of damping further resonating strings that are resonating in sympathy, or that might still be resonating from before. So if I show you with the right hand, just this other way you can do it. Damp, damp, damp. Okay, but you would be doing it with the left. It has advantages, like I was just saying, it deadens more notes. It has disadvantages because it's so close to the body, it can feel a bit squinchy. It also is more movement that you've then got to pull yourself back from. So whilst I do like it, and when I perform this piece I prefer to do that, at the same time I totally understand if you feel more comfortable keeping your hand shape without opening it up. And for the instance of this piece, and similarly in JaNEWary's Rondo that this piece is a taster for, it can work, just doing the knock can work. Okay, let's try it one more time, these 2 bars, and you choose whether you want to do it as a knock or an open hand damp. Okay, so both hands on, high C in the right hand, high C in the left, they're both doing high Cs. 1 and 2 and okay, and then our last 2 bars, left hand's doing something we're very familiar with now. We've done it down here, but we're now doing it around middle C. It's a G on its own, and then we're going to place the finger 2 back on that G, and our 4th finger is going to sit on middle C. Okay, so we do G on its own, and then the 2-4. Okay, to watch there, try not to have too straight a 4th finger when you're reaching for it, because if you have too straight a finger you're going to fall into other strings. So if you can try and have a bend in that note, that's great. But having played the G, if you let your hand, keep the finger on, let your hand go nearer that string anyway, you'll find that note easier to play. So G on its own, you place the 2 and the 4, and then you can let your hand go near to that 4th finger. Okay, I'll show you that in the right hand. G on its own, place the 2 and the 4, try and have a bend in that 4 if you can. However, having played that final 2, let your hand move to add in that note there. Okay, so we go back to doing that properly with the left hand. 2 on its own, and then 2 and 4. Okay, it's the same thing we did on the first day in this piece a couple of days ago, but we did it down there last time. Okay, the top hand has got 2 little chords. They're quite high. Finger 2 is on the black. This is an octave and a bit above middle C, and our thumb is on the B, just below the red up there. It plays those 2, and we're just doing this with 2 and 1 because it's quite a small gap really. And then what we do is we open that chord out by 1 note, and because we've now got a much bigger gap, we make that finger 3. Okay, so we end with a 3rd finger on the E and our thumb up on the C. So we go from the F and the B, opening it out 1 note and changing finger. Okay, if you end up doing that with finger 2, hopefully you'll feel it feels quite awkward. It feels like quite a big stretch. You might feel a bit of tension in the hand there. Also, you're more likely to either drop your thumb and end up catching some strings up there, or end up pulling on the finger and catch some more strings in there. It's just not a natural shape for our hand to reach that large a gap. So the 3 lets you be really clean on those 2 sounds. So if you get that hand ready, back, finger 2 on the black, thumb on the B, ready to open out. Leave that there. Our left hand is going to be on G, above middle C. The left hand starts on its own, it does the G on its own, then it places on the 2 and the 4. You play finger 2 with this first chord, and then our last chord, which is opened out at the top, is going to have this middle C with it. Okay, so if we do that in time, so get your top hand ready, black, F, finger 2, the thumb on the B, just one below the red C, left hand, finger 2 on the G, one above the black there, 1 and 2 and so give it lots of time. Okay, do that one more time. 1 and 2 and okay. Let's see if we can add that on to the previous 2 bars. So we're going to go from our, remember we're doing the knock or the damp, the same effect. I'm using the word knock just to give you that idea of touching the back of your fingers onto it. It's still a damp that you're doing. So we're going to go from the last 4 bars, both hands are on a C, we're going to move to a G and the top hand will follow, moves to an E, to a C. It's that arpeggio shape going down. 1 and 2 and ready on the G and the high notes, and okay. So let's put all of that together then today from bar 17. Remember, listen for that tune coming through in your left hand, and just by listening for it you will bring it through. We're not too loud today, nice piano volume. 1 and 2 and ready on the red. High chord ready. Well done. You can revisit this. You can go back to the playthroughs at the beginning of this video as well when you've got more comfortable with it, and try it through at some different speeds. Well done.